apologize for being the bearer of bad news, but vegan companies are lying to you. Let me explain. Impossible, a well-known company in the vegan community who makes mock meats out of soy protein, has lied to the vegan community about animal testing. Some of the vegan community already know that Impossible and Just Egg are tested on animals. Some of you didn't know that. These were rumors that I had heard about a while ago that I honestly kind of ignored because I do like these products. And I was like, why would the vegan community be promoting them as vegan if they're not vegan? You know, I trust the vegan community, I trust the vegan society, so why would they not be vegan? But I did a deep dive, a little too much of a deep dive, to be honest. You can ask Noel. He was the witness. He dealt with me going through all the information for days on end. He also had to hear me rant a lot about all my frustrations learning about the situation. I'll link the two major sources that I have in the description box. But according to this article, even Impossible's founder, Pat Brown, who was also a self-proclaimed vegan, has said that Impossible did not need to test on animals. It was not necessary. It was not a requirement. But now Impossible has walked back on that. Now their site says that it was necessary. I want to clear up a little bit about, I guess, the whole questioning about animal testing. Is it required or is it not? And the short answer is no, it is not required. And I think a lot of us assume that it has to be required because it is seen as the standard for food safety, and so many companies do it. So a lot of us have had that assumption that it is necessary and that it has to happen for us to have food on the shelves, for us to have vegan products. And that's not the case. More research is needed, but I don't think the FDA has ever required animal testing as far as a simple Google search will tell you. And of course, don't take the AI answers and the AI summaries as like the one and done answer for anything that you're looking for, because you can end up with a lot of misinformation that way. We need to look at actual sources, peer-reviewed sources, or sources that come from government sites, or, you know, actual professionals. Just some random on Reddit saying, oh yeah, this is what I heard. But yeah, as far as I know, has never been required. The whole mix-up, I guess, is that was it 2022, 2023, that the FDA just stopped requiring animal testing for drugs, for specifically drugs, pharmaceutical drugs. And Just Egg and Impossible came out a little before that requirement was lifted. Because I guess even now the FDA knows animal testing is not a reliable way to find out if a item or a product is safe for human consumption. Like, this deep dive just opened my mind because I always thought that animal testing was the best we have, but it's not anymore, and it's not even great. And as one of my vegan friends quoted, I feel like animal testing is just around now just for the sake of animal abuse, for the sake of being evil at this point, because it's not even effective. And it's also not required here in the United States of America. But yeah, after doing some deep dive reading into all of this bullshit, I have found out that generally regarded as safe, to get that as a tag, you don't even need to do animal testing. You don't even need FDA approval to be on the shelf, to be selling, to be marketing your product. Of course, most people are gonna want to see some sort of approval on your product, but you don't need it to sell it. You don't need it to market it. You don't need it to get it onto the shelves. Generally regarded as safe, I think, is like a reference of other products and items that have already been tested or regarded as safe. You can go through that list, and if your product has said item that has been already generally regarded as safe, then it's easy to even get that tag on your product. As far as the no questions letter from the FDA, which is what Just Egg and Impossible claimed they had to do animal testing to get, is also not the case. You do not need a no questions letter from the FDA to sell your product. Again, I get why people would want it. I get why it would turn off some consumers from buying your products by not seeing an FDA approval stamp on your food or whatever. All this is very disappointing. I really do like their products. I feel like Impossible is the closest meat replacement that we have right now, at least in the United States. And Just Egg is the closest egg replacement product that we have here in the United States. Like, I made a really great scramble out of it a couple weeks ago. The worst part is that it's hard to find this information because it's been scrubbed from the internet. Like, Just Egg has done a great job of scrubbing information regarding animal testing. Even like other products that they had when they first started off that very much show were not vegan. Just Egg just made it to the UK, and a vegan content creator, vegan beauty girl.
And there's a secret code to get a free box to take home. Taste-wise, it was very interesting. Tastes so eggy. Definitely vegan, right?
I really like her stuff. I don't even know if she knows. I don't even know if the UK requires animal testing, because I know countries like China do. For Americans, it is not. And it hasn't been for a long time, if ever, at least for food. And for pharmaceutical drugs, now is also not required. So what you gotta say, Impossible? What you gotta say, Just Egg? I get it. It was the easier way to get a no questions letter from the FDA. But as vegans, are we supposed to take the easy way out? Like, as vegans, I don't even think that's a thing. Considering we are vegans, we are a minority, we are a small part of the population, and it would be easier to just do what everybody else is doing and consume animal products without any regard for the implications for the lives being taken. If you still have questions about this, I highly recommend that you go read the article that I've linked in the description. Go listen to the Animal Law podcast that I've also linked. There's a transcript if for some reason you can't listen to it or you prefer to read it. But yeah, unnecessary testing from vegan companies. And as for Impossible, I mean, they clearly aren't vegan because they had a breakfast sandwich come out a couple months ago that had real eggs, real cheese on it, and they are trying to separate themselves from the term vegan, which I understand in a way because a lot of people will avoid products that say vegan, and plant-based gets more people to buy them for some reason. And we know we need more people buying plant-based / vegan products, so whatever helps them buy. But Impossible is now moving towards a term called animal-free, which is also kind of a lie because animal testing involves animals. You know, at the end of the day, animal testing is not vegan, and I'm not saying that people who buy these products are not vegan, especially if they didn't know that these were unnecessarily tested on animals. But as a vegan, I will not be buying or supporting these companies anymore. They have given me the ick. I've gotten the ick. I don't like companies that lie to you, and they are lying to us. I don't like being lied to, and I hope you don't either. I'll still promote these companies as alternatives to non-vegans because I would still prefer them to be buying plant-based products versus paying to slaughter live animals every day, provided of course that these companies do not continue testing on animals, and we don't know that. But yeah, I would rather they buy a plant-based product versus paying for death every day, like literal death to animals every day. But as a vegan myself, I will not be supporting them anymore as much as possible. If I go to a restaurant out in the middle of nowhere and all they have is an Impossible burger, I'm still gonna eat that over eating an animal any day. But animal testing is not vegan. And if we as vegans are avoiding cosmetics, toiletries, bathroom products, even cleaning products tested on animals, then, you know, why would we not apply it to food items that we do not need to live a healthy life? We don't need Just Egg to live. We don't need Impossible to live a good life. The replacements are fun. I love meat replacements. I love mock meat replacements. And so I guess I'll likely stick with Beyond at this point, since they have not been confirmed to test on animals. A lot of the vegan community says is that, oh, Beyond didn't need to test because Just Egg tested, so Just Egg walked so that Beyond could run. But we have other companies like Field Roast, Gardein, Morningstar. Morningstar is not a vegan company, but as far as I know, said companies have not tested on animals, so why are we making excuses for these two companies for testing on animals? According to the article, Field Roast founder had some issues with the Canadian government trying to repeal their products from the shelves because they weren't sure about an ingredient that Field Roast used. They wanted Field Roast to test on animals, and Field Roast was like, no, we are not going to do that. We're a vegan company. That would be against our morals Does it make sense for us as a vegan company to test on animals? Is there a way we can get these approved without testing on animals? And they were able to make it work, as we can see to this day. You can find Phil Roche just about anywhere. Not my favorite out of all of the vegan products, but I do admire their founder for doing what he needed to do back then. It's up to you if you want to call this a vegan gray area or not, but it doesn't make sense to me to be avoiding products tested on animals and then try to defend this. And a lot of people in the vegan community are defending this, even with solid information, confirmation be given that said products were unnecessarily tested on animals. They are still defending that, it's a necessary evil, or utilitarianism, which is kind of hard to be synonymous with veganism because I don't know how throwing animals underneath the bus to save animals is a vegan thing to do. If you were in that said position of being unnecessarily tested on, would you even be in that position? But yeah, if you didn't know, now you know. Highly recommend going through the resources that I've linked in the description. Sucks to know this as a vegan, but knowledge is power, as they say. The truth hurts, but I'd rather know than not know. So I appreciate you for watching if you've made it this far. I hope you have a great week. My out.